Hello everyone, welcome to week 11 and just a few announcement if you're watching this video before your exam. Just a few heads up uh, for what you can expect is it would be similar to your previous exam one, which was HTML. Like there would be MCQs and start, there would be some descriptive type answers in the middle, and there would be a long question where you would have to like write some code in JavaScript. So make sure you have time left for that and manage your time properly. And also, one more thing is like the questions could be also be like there is some code given, you might have to find what the output is of that. You might be given choices. So that's some things to keep in mind. And maybe like finding the errors in a code, like we find errors in HTML code. So expect things to be on a similar line. And I know it can be challenging, but try to give it your best and all the best if you're watching it before your exam. For this week, the good news is JavaScript is over. As you know, we have done enough of it, and now we're gonna be coming to familiar territory. As most of you have a business background or would be following that, Excel is a great tool for that. As you all know, you would probably have worked with it before, maybe in different courses or for something else, and you are going to be working on it. So it will always help to either build your Excel skills from the bottom up or like just revise your Excel skills. So keeping in that in mind, let's start with today's recitation. And because we had revision last time, we'll have a few extra concepts in Excel to cover on and quickly catch up. And I'm perfectly sure you can handle that. So let's start with it. So the agenda for today's recitation is to introduce the Excel environment, starting a new, what's a workbook, worksheet, how to enter the data, using some built-in functions, uh, and some like formulas and using them properly, and manage all type of formatting functions like sorting or partial formatting or coloring and things like that. So without wasting more time, let's dive deep into it. So basically, a workbook can have multiple worksheets, and a worksheet is a single page spreadsheet containing information. And there are few shortcuts like Command N to create a new template, and similarly to create new worksheet. And rather than reading about it, let's just practice it. So I have here open. So this could be like an empty sheet, and if you are using it for the first time, how you enter it, you can navigate using arrow keys, or you can just click on a particular cell, and each uh, each column is alphabetical and each row is numerical, and each cell is a combination of them. So this cell is C5, its address is written here. This is the formula bar. How to write anything is you just go to the cell and double click on it, enter some values, and you can move away from that cell, and that would be there. So similarly, like this, you can enter any sort of data. Also, Excel is quite smart, so it is very quick to catch up on patterns. Some of it so if you want to repeat this, so when you go to the lower bottom corner, your thick cross turns into a small, tiny one or a slim one, and you can just drag it in a direction to copy the same value, or you can carry it in the horizontal direction to copy it like this, or you can carry, okay, this is allowing me this, but you can sometimes do it diagonally as well. Here I'm not using the Excel app because I'm having some issues, licensing issues, so I'm using the online version. I do recommend using the desktop app or the Mac application or whatever you have, or your Windows application, because there are some features I find which sometimes might be missing, or not missing, but at a certain different place than usual, and you don't want to waste your time doing that. So Keeping that in mind, let's go. We're talking about patterns. So it can pick up patterns like, wait. So one, two, and if I select both of them and then I drag, it knows that I'm counting and it will keep counting for me. Similarly, if I was counting like odd numbers, so let's say like this, it's smart to understand that and only give me odd numbers. Similarly, you can do for even. And not only that, let's say I'm doing Monday, Tuesday, and if I'm having some days writing a calendar and extend it, it knows. It can take a hint of the pattern and give me the rest of the days according to that. And this is a very useful functionality in Excel, and this is what we're going to be using a lot. So, having some introduction, some idea, let's just see if we didn't miss anything. So, moving the cell pointer around, menu bar, formatting bar, formula bar. This is similar to every Microsoft Office suite. So, this is the formula bar, menu bar, formatting bar, and we're going to be learning them in detail, some specific functions. And yeah, shift to select range, all that, worksheet tabs, status bar. Okay. Entering data. Okay, yeah. We can also do that. So let's say enter some data here. Now I want to undo it. I can use Command Z or Control Z to undo something, or I can do Control Y to redo it again. So Control Z, Control Y, Control Z, Control Y. You can have your fun with it. If you make some mistakes or you want to go to a previous version, you can just undo it. Or if you want to come back, you can redo it. Autofill we have done. So it works with dates, even dates. I did days with you. You can try it with months and other series you fill. Type first two values in the series and it will autofill. And yeah, similar. You can go through these and try these, but this should be simple enough for you. Okay. So after this, there are some inbuilt functions that we use and which are very helpful as well. And how can we use that? We can use them using an equal to sign. So if you remember, we are writing things like this directly into the cell. But if we start writing with equal to, it treats that thing as a formula. And whatever we write after equal to, it will think we can do mathematical operations with it. For example, I know the cell A3 has 1, cell A5 has 2. So let's say in the cell B2, I want their sum. So I can do A3 plus A5 and I'll get the sum 3. And why you can say that why didn't you just add them normally and you had to do it once? Why did you write a formula? But the formula helps me in the way that what if later on someone had made a mistake in a huge Excel and there were things dependent, you would have to change all the things based on that cell value. But if you change here, the sum automatically changes because we use the cell address in the formula, not the exact value. So if that value changes, the next value will automatically change. You won't go back to update the other values which are dependent on it. So that's one use case. Also, an interesting question is what happens uh, if we drag the cells with formulas. What I'm saying is, let's say we have uh, odd numbers here, odd numbers here. So let's say I have odd numbers here. Let's say I have even number here. Oh, oh my bad. Let's say we have all even numbers here. And let's say here I want the sum. So it would be equal to, so don't forget the equal to. So C23 plus D23. So this is these two cells, these are highlighted as well. And this is equal to 3. Now if I drag it, you see the formula gets copied again and again. So here it was C23 plus G23. If I see on 7, it becomes C24 plus D24. So you can even copy the formula like that and save time on doing these operations. And these will be especially helpful in your exercises doing them. And this is the same. Okay, on to the next task. So then there's a concept of referencing, and referencing is by address. So you see the formula kept on changing, but let's say I want to uh, multiply all all the odd numbers by a specific number, let's say 10 or whatever value is in A25, and put the answer here. So I can do like C, and it was 23 multiplied by, and you don't have to type the address every time. If you like select the cell as well, it works. So this is giving 10, and I want like this for all the odd numbers, but I don't want to do it every time. So if I drag it down, you see it becomes 0. And if you go and see the formula, it's C24, which is correct, but it becomes A26. But we want it to remain only on A25. And how we can do that, or how we can fix one value that shouldn't change on dragging, is using absolute referencing. So what we were doing up till now was relative referencing, which could change if we change the formula, but absolute referencing keeps the formula same. So if instead of sheet 23 into A25, if I do add a dollar sign to it, so dollar A, which fixes the column A, and $25, which fixes the row 25. So adding a dollar sign fixes that row or column. So I'm fixing both row and column, so I fix the cell. So this would remain the same, which is 10, but if I go down, it becomes 30, 50, 17. That's what we wanted. So this is the difference between relative and absolute referencing. There will be tasks, and it is an important concept in Excel, which you should know. And why am I opening this again and again? Let's keep it down. Okay. So formulas get copied automatically. Okay, so let's look at some of the inbuilt function that Excel already have for us. It has like sum functions, copying, average functions. So let's just try one function, which is sum function. So we already have the sum here. So it will be, let's say we want to calculate a sum in a range. So let's select the cell where you want the sum. So let's say here I want the sum for all these values. So I'll say equal to and write SUM, and you see it starts coming up, and then open brackets. And if you see, it gives us a hint as well, like number 1, number 2, what are the numbers that you want sum of. So if I select this, and then I give a comma and this, and comma this, so I have selected 3 numbers, it will give me a sum of that. But if I want a sum of a range, so let's say I want for this entire column, what I can do is I can either give the range or like this. So D23 colon 28 means starting from D23 all the way up to D28. Instead of comma, a colon gives you that, and it will give me all the sum of these, which is 42. Okay, so this is an inbuilt function, and Excel has a lot of these, which saves us a lot of calculations, much more than the functions that you did in JavaScript. You can easily find them here, and you won't have to write any loops or arrays for them. That's some good news. And okay, my slides have some issues. So similarly, you have average functions, copying and copying formulas. You can do that. Inserting rows, columns, and cells, resizing columns, formatting cells, headers, footers. These are formatting which is common across all Microsoft Suite. So you can maybe just right click, insert column, delete column, column width, format. So you can find all these options here, all formatting options, and you can find all of these here. I don't generally believe they're very important. Formatting can do on your own, or you can just look it up. It's the concepts which you should know better. But yeah, you can find them, right click, you can find delete rows, insert rows, and similarly you can find number format. For example, if you want to add, like, let's say a percentage sign to something, to a cell, you can do that. So it will be 0%. You can do all sorts of formatting. Okay. And we have a task, we'll discuss it more. So getting started with something, Excel, I feel should be learned hands-on, as we were doing with everything. So gonna be following the same practice. So it's time for opening the example one file. I've uploaded them along with the video. So I've uploaded it on Canvas. You can find it on the site where you found the video link. And let's see, what do we have? So this is our example one. So this is a function called today, which will give you today's date. It's a usual function. And what our task is, we have a salary sheet for the month. So we have some months here. Then we want to calculate commission, overtime, and we basically need to fill up this table and calculate the column totals here. We have the formulas with us in the slide, and let's see how to. So this is the payroll statement. So enter the months with January and autofill. So I would suggest whenever I have a task, just before I'm about to begin it, you should begin it, or I would just suggest go through the slides first, try doing them on your own, and pause the video here, and then see if I'll do them, and then see if you did everything correctly. Shouldn't take much time, and this should be much easier than the JavaScript tasks we had earlier. Okay, so keeping that in mind, I'll start. Whatever way do you want, you feel comfortable in following this lecture, you can try that. So January, we have all the month. Overtime is 3,200 for everyone. So that is all set. And commission formula is salary into 15. 15% of the salary is commission. So commission is 15% of the salary. That is 0.15 into salary, and salary is in a B5 cell. That is 9,300. And then we drag it down. Now what's the mortgage? So we have all the formulas. You just need to apply them to Excel. So enter the formula for mortgage payment, and that is sum of all these three into the mortgage rate. And you see, where is the mortgage rate? You see mortgage rate is here, and mortgage rate is only in one cell. So we want that cell to be fixed. So keeping that in mind, this is equal to B5 plus C5 plus P5 multiplied by A16, but not A16 because we want absolute referencing. We'll fix it using the dollar sign. And this is our mortgage rate. And similarly, we can have the mortgage rate for everything, just dragging it down and see how simple it is, filling all the values. And now the pension is salary plus overtime into 25%. So this is salary plus overtime into 25%. So 0.25 into salary plus overtime. So B5 plus D5. Oh, you have, don't forget the multiplication sign. It's like this. Then we just drag it. What are the total deductions? Mortgage payment plus pension fund are the total deductions. So mortgage payment, so this is equal to this. plus this and this. Now total pay is equal to, and this will try using the sum function, so b5 till d5. So rather than just adding them, let's use the sum function here. Sum and b5 to d5, does the exact same job, and we do it this. Similarly, for column totals, we'll again use the sum function, and oops, here, because it's a range, it's a column, we'll do like this. And once we have it here, we can drag this formula across because we want to calculate sum of all the columns here. So this is C5 to C12. So you can see the formula after dragging how it becomes. And let's see for formatting, as all these values are numbers, we'll want them in dollars. So where is the format option? Number format. And this is all currency, dollars. Click on OK. So this is that. Everything is up to 2 decimal places. Even you can change that. Let's keep it to 1 decimal place. And you have it like this. So this is our sheet 1. And I hope you all were able to do it before me. Or at least you could understand all things after you have seen it. And next time, if you'll be asked to do such a task, you will do it in no time. Okay. Okay. Oh, wait, we have some things. We have a net pay column, which we want, which is total pay minus total deductions. So let's do net pay, and which is total pay minus total deduction, which is this minus this, and my bad, copy it across, and that is weird. Oh, because this sign comes when the column size is pretty less. So yep, now we have all the net pay. And let's have something like column average. And let's calculate the average for this. So for this, we have the average function. And if you start writing, you'll get it easily. And for this, I'll give it the range again. And it will give me the average salary, which is 73,050. And we can find average of all columns by just dragging it around. So this is us, and this was our first sheet. I hope you understood everything I was doing, or you could just slow down the pace if you felt it was a little fast and you are very new to Excel. That's all right. And we can format the cells. You can format the titles to bold and all this. You can easily do. Uh, okay, this is interesting. Conditional formatting. Conditionally format table to highlight high net pay cells. So high net pay sales. So we see the column average is 52,000. So 52,000 is the average net pay. So let us highlight uh, all the cells, all the like rows which have more than average net pay. So how we can do that is go to the format again, or there is an option of conditional formatting. And here we can have some rules. So go to highlight cell rules, and rather than this, we can just add our new rules. So select your range where you want to apply with, and highlight cells with, and having cell value greater than 1,000. So all the high net cells are calculate like this, or if you don't want to do like this, we can change our selection to this. So this was among all the cells, but we can change it to, oh, my bad. Okay, the rule just disappeared. I5 to I12. This is a range. And you can have multiple rules like that. Oh, I did 5,000. I meant 50,000. So here are the cells which are above average. So 52,413. Actually, this is below average as well because I chose 50,000, so only two cells would be there. But I hope you get the logic of conditional formatting. Okay, now we have another example to cover in this recitation. As I told, we have a few things and the time is limited. So let's go over to our second file. It is also uploaded on Canvas. I've uploaded these two files. You can download them from there and go through them. So this is our file and you can just pause the video here and try this on your own. First, whatever part you can do, you should try that. There are some common things across it and it's perfectly labeled to you. And you can just use the slides as well. But if not, I'll also start. So add your name here. Samples flower shop. Today's date. If you forgot, it's done using today. And we have the sales tax rate here. So first is using an if else. So if you remember, we did something like if else all through the JavaScript. So these are the bouquets. These are the number of bouquets, price per bouquet, and bouquet in stock. So if the bouquet in stock become less than 20, we want to order more, and we want to reorder, and we want yes in this column. Otherwise, we want no. And how we can do that is using an if function, and this Excel also has it. Makes our life easier. The logical test. So what do we want to compare? We want to compare the value in this LD. So for, let's say, for this row, it would be D5. So if D5, and you see I'm not directly writing yes for 7 because I eventually want to copy it for everything. So I want to write a generic rule. So if D5 is less than 20, then we want to reorder. So this is our condition test. So if D5 is less than 20, and based on its answer, if it's true or false. So if it's true, we want the value yes. And if it's false, we want the value no. I think this, okay, wait. You'll have to have these in double quotes, I guess. Okay, yeah. So because it's 7 bouquets, we have to reorder. Let's say it's 21, then the answer would be no. Okay. So our condition works because if the bouquets in stock changes, then our need to reorder should also change. And similarly, if you can copy it across all the flowers and their bouquet price, you'll get all the bouquets that you need to reorder. Now this is bouquets sold, and you need to calculate gross income, sales tax, and net income, and the formulas are given here. So you can pause the video here quickly and try that. And I'll do it here. So price into number of bouquets sold, which is price per bouquet. It is C5. C5, yes, I'm correct. C5 multiplied by number of bouquets sold, which is F5. And this is this. And we can just drag it down. Similarly, rate into gross income. So sales tax is this rate, sales tax rate into gross income. So with that, we can do like this into G5. So this gives us the correct answer, but would it give us the right answer for everything? No, because what we did here was absolute relative references, whereas we need absolute referencing here. So we'll just change the formula of G1 because we want to fix G1. We'll do $G, $1, and voila, it should be fixed now. And we have it like here. And net income is again a gross minus the sales tax, which is equal to gross income minus sales tax. Mhm. And your task this week is to round it up to two decimal places and write appropriate formatting for dollar signs, like we did in the last worksheet. And this also I'm leaving to you. I'm leaving the uh, total sum to you, or I'll just do this one for you for counting how many yes are there. So like we have some function, we have a sum if function. So sum if again the range is selected, and then we have to give the criteria. So if the value is yes, we want to count the total number of yes, and that's all. So okay, sum if criteria is yes. Mm, just we'll come back to that. Okay, and for counting, so the number of items, so text and number, here we have a function called count, and we it what it does, it counts all the numbers. So we want to see, so basically this is done, this will not count the blank value. So suppose you have some entries missing, so count function is used to help with that, but here it will give the answer as 10 for every cell. Note that it does not count function only count numbers. If you want to count everything, you will do count a, which is count all. And here it was, as it was giving value 0. Now if we see, if we extend this function, it will give you a value of 10. And here you can use the normal count function, and for counting only the text value, you can use count if, count if range and the criteria. So this is the range, and the criteria is this. Oops. So it will count all the letters and not the numbers. So here it will give 10 for this row, but not this. Similarly, median, there is function for median. Just select the range and use the function for median, maximum and minimum. You have to do that for only these three columns, cause for yes or no, it does not exist. Now coming to sum if, yes, no. Okay, I'll let you know how that goes. But yeah, so these are the tasks for this. Also, you need to round them up. So this is your homework task. And I think we covered the rest of it. So we did COUNTIF and did that. I think we covered that. Can change the mode, and let's come to the next sheet. So this workbook has some few more sheets for you, And this is our second sheet. Okay. So basically, this is a grade book, and you have to fill those. And there are a few students, they have some points in a certain exam, maybe your exam too. You need to put the appropriate grade for them. And how will you put that is you see this table. So if the points are, let's say, 95, so that person should get an A. If it's like 84, they should get a B. If it's 70, they should get a C, and so on. So this is the range. And then we have some comment. If a person receives A, they should get, the comment should be distinction. For B, it should be credit. C, it should be pass. D should be fail. And F is fails a lot. It's not a real scheme, don't worry. And we need to fill in the grades and comments for all the students here based on those marks. So if I were to give you this task to do manually, what you'll do is you'll see the points, or maybe you'll remember the table in your head and then just start giving out the grades here. But we don't want to do that. We want to automate things and we want Excel to do it for us. And luckily, it has done it for us. So there's the function called VLOOKUP. And it's a big function. So try and understand it properly once so you'll never forget its use. So VLOOKUP takes in a lot of arguments, and basically four arguments. First is the lookup value. So which value do you want to look up in the table and then get the answer? So what value do we want to look up? We want to look up the marks here. So that is, what are Bob's marks or Bob's points? It's 90. So it's B2. Second value is the table array. And where is the table array? It's not even in this sheet, it's in a different sheet. But our formula bar is still here. And we take this, and you see this grades exclamation A4 to B8, this represents a separate sheet, and then it's just the range A4 to B8. So some simple things and new things. Then is the column index number, and column index number refers to which column are we using of the table to get our answer after looking up. So let's say if the marks are 95, so that is in column 1. And the answer that we want is in column 2, which is grade. And the columns are ranked numerically. So first column is your selections, column 1. So A column, and column 2 is B column. So what answer do we want? Which column? That is 2. And then the range lookup is true. We'll see when it could be false. True is like an approximate match, because if you turn it to false, it cannot give answers for the marks which lie in between those numbers. It will need exactly that numbers, and that's why we use it as true. So, and we push enter here. Oh, we forgot our formula somewhere. Okay. Okay, good chance for us to do it again. And we look up. Lookup value, comma, lookup range, comma, lookup column, comma, true, and plus. So this person receives an A, and for the rest of the people, we don't have to do it. We know the trick, we can just copy the formulas. And but wait, there is some NA, and why is that? You see the range, which was A4 to B8 of the table, it gets changed to A5 to B9 to A6 to B10, and we don't want that because our grade table is fixed. So what we do here is we fix it again and we use absolute referencing, and you see why it's such an important concept. And we fix the table. So this person is still getting an A, but the rest have their respective grades as well. And for the comment again, we use the VLOOKUP, and I'll suggest pausing the video here and trying try doing the comment yourself from the other table. So the lookup value will be the grade. The table would be the grades and comment table. And don't forget to absolute reference it this time. And the column is 2 again, and approx. Now, because we only have grade A, B, C, D, F, and F, and we don't have any grades in between, we can use false here because there are no grades in between. So sometimes the values is between the table values, it will take the approximate match, but we don't have it this time, so we can take the exact match using false. So distinction, and we'll get the grades for everyone like this, and we got it here. Again, for filling out the average, median, highest, and lowest, I leave that to you to calculate for this range. Number of people passing, grade greater than 60. So if you remember, we had something like count if. So we can do like count if, and we'll give the range. And if you want, let's say people having over 60 marks, so we can do like greater than 60. And there's 9 people who score above 60 are there. So there's 1 person below 60, 2 people below 60, and yeah, that's all. So that should be correct. Similarly, you can do for less than 60. You can count the number of A's, just do count if and put in A, number of B's, C's, D's, and all of these you should be able to fill up using the COUNTIF and appropriate answer. And this is our second sheet. I know this is getting a bit of a longer side on the video, but we'll try to cover as much as possible and like give you as many examples as you need so that you understand it better. The benefit of asynchronous is if you're tired or we want to take a break, you can just pause it and watch it some other time. But yeah, I'll do my best to cover it. Okay. You can sort things as well. And let's sort our grade book by the highest grade. So this is an interesting thing we can do. This. Now we want to sort this range, and we use the sort, and we'll go to the custom sort. And then we say what do we want to sort based on? We want to, let's say it's sort based on name, cell values, and ascending. So we want alphabetically arranged. We have them alphabetically arranged. If you want something else, you can sort by, let's say, points and descending. So you'll get the topper and then rest of the people's marks, and you can have it like this. You can apply conditional formatting to it and just go through the slides. If I missed any of the tasks, you should do it down definitely. And now here we are to our final sheet, which is the loans worksheet. And yeah, that would be the last worksheet for the day. So let's see what it has. So this is the last worksheet, loans. And this should be a very simple one. There's only one new function to learn. Don't worry. And rest is everything old that we know. So first is the annual percentage rate. How do we calculate that? Let's go back. So this is the APR, annual percentage rate column. So we have to complete it using VLOOKUP function, APR corresponding to the number of each year customer based out of the table. And some years you do not have to mention here, but APR will be assigned nonetheless by the VLOOKUP function based on. So this is saying that if there are values in between the years, use the value as true in the last input of VLOOKUP, and it will give an approximate match. So our VLOOKUP will look like something like VLOOKUP. So let's say the years are 25 and it should get its appropriate value. So if it's 30, it should APR should be 8.25%. So the value we want to look up is here. The table we want is here or not here. Here. And make sure the table is fixed, because otherwise if we copy the formula to other rows, it will change and that will give us the wrong answer. Now the column index number is 2 again, because the years are in the first column, the rate is in the second, and we want the rate. And finally, we want an approximate match, so we use true. We get, so this 25 years, it will get 6.75%, 38.25, and we see everything else follows. Now for the monthly payment thing, so there is a function called PMT. And PMT function calculates the payment of for a loan based on some inputs, and its main three parameters are the interest rate, number of payment periods, and the present value or the loan amount. So if we see in our worksheet, there are some mismatches, like based on how it takes in the input the PMT function. The first mismatch is in the time dimension. So the interest rate we have is here, but this is annual percentage rate and we want it as monthly percentage rate. So we would want to multiply it by 12%. Oh, it's not APR, I guess. Oh yeah, it should be annual percentage. So we want monthly percentage rate. We'll do it by dividing by 12. So if the annual percentage rate is 6.75, monthly would be 6.75 by 12. And similarly, number of periods of year, we have to find the number of payment periods into which are in there in months, but we have years. So let's say if it's 25 years, we want the value in months. So 25 into 12, which will be the number of months, which are the input for the PMT function. And finally, the loan amount, which is in D9, which is the amount financed. So that will give us the 3. So if you see, I have done this, I've written the formula down for you here. And you can just use that. So if you see G9, which is years, G9, sorry, which is annual percentage rate, divided by V5, which is 12. So this will give us the monthly percentage rate. The total number of payment cycles in months is the number of years into 12, which is B5 again, and the amount finance, which is this. So this will give us the monthly payment, and we can copy it down to get it for everything. Similarly, monthly insurance, the insurance rate is here, and you can do that by yourself. But if you need, the formula is here. It is loan amount into the monthly insurance rate, and you can do that as a homework exercise. So it would be insurance rate into the monthly payments. Okay. Oh, sorry, it's loan amount into the monthly insurance rate. So insurance rate divided by 12 and multiplied with the loan financed. And that is all for this week. And I know there are a few new functions which you might not have known before, but I think if with enough practice and if you just practice these worksheets, it should be good for you and you should understand them well better. And again, if you have any question, comments, or concerns, feel free to reach out to me or write it in the attendance form and I'll get back to you. Thank you, and I'll see you all next week.